there's this thing called continuity, and I'm breaking it because this is the start of Kirsten's agenda, and there's now two. The Bengal tiger of nature has his friend, the onyx panther of outside. I didn't just make that up. And also, I got this, so when I feel like screaming into the void, I can. Are you ready?
A few moments later.
Kirsten's Agenda is the name of my show. It's a way to make art and learn stuff and grow. There will be lots of segments and maybe some guests. 10 minutes of deep breath, that is my quest. Opening up is a really good place to start. Kirsten's Agenda.
This is the conversation that I get to have with Eunisses Hernandez. Eunisses Hernandez. It's a fun name to say. I had to practice, not because it's a great name. It's just my mouth, and it's English is a first language situation that's happening here. And what's so great about the district that we're talking about, if you're not familiar with Highland Park, Los Angeles, or elsewhere, Highland Park is like, it's really cool. It's so cool that like people in Highland Park almost don't want you to know how cool Highland Park is because they don't. They're like, come and visit, but then leave, because there tends to be an influx of people that show up at places when they become cool, like just count the District 1 is, where Eunisses Hernandez is the council person and is also running again. I love it over there. I actually did a play at the Outside In Theater, which is part of that district. Gorgeous theater. There's just so many there's places there's like, in the middle of the night, you can go and get an amazing piece of pizza. There's cool places to hang out. There's cool places to shop. There's all kinds of stuff. So if you have not been down there, I highly recommend that part of town. And it's Mount Washington, Highland Park. There's a lot of different parts of District 1. And that's what we're talking to today. And you're going to witness the delightfulness. Here it is. We are talking to Eunisses Hernandez today. It's such an honor. As a person whose name is Kirsten Vangsness, I often get their mouth gets scared when they say my name, and my mouth got scared when I said your name. But it's because it's such a beautiful name, and so I've been asking my friends, say it for me, Eunisses, Eunisses, Eunisses. Am I saying it correctly?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
And what do you discover about being on the city council? Why do you want to keep being on the city council? Why is it important that we know that you're around?
So yes, I am the council member for the first district, and I'm running for re-election. Before I was a council member, I spent over a decade working on state legislation, campaigns, ballot initiatives, policies around the county and county level as well. Things like getting doulas to people who are incarcerated to have, so they can have their births safely, alternatives to incarceration, penal code revisions, all around the criminal justice system, reforming it and breaking away the pieces that are not serving our communities. And so always fighting for our seniors, for our immigrant communities, working families, and for justice.
Yeah.
And
And I want to say one of the things I really, really appreciate is some people have like starvation economy, and they go like, well, I do all this work and I make all this money, so I just keep the money, and I should be able to decide where I put these taxes, and I don't want to give money to people who are poor or got in trouble and are in jail, or they're old and they didn't take care of their money like my family did. The thing that people are missing from that, first of all, I always like to remind myself those people must be very, very afraid, because there's no amount of hoarding that makes you feel safe. But the other thing that's so important, and what's important about what you're doing, is that that we're only as powerful as the least privileged among us. We can only be the beautiful Los Angeles that we are if we're really making sure that the people who have the least amount of airtime, that somebody is speaking for them. Because if we're speaking for them, everybody else gets spoken for. So that's what I think is so important about you knowing so much because you are this delightful cocktail of street smarts and common sense and backbone and beauty. And it's all like coming at you at different times, at different, like, my mind sees like a DJ mixing thing. But like, I feel like that when I listen to you talk, when I watch the things you do, you find and you collaborate with people really well.
I could be a bull in a china shop. I could break everything. I can go in there and say, this is what I want. But I've been trying to be surgical and diplomatic.
What do you need right now to get you feeling very confident? Because let's all remember, this is going to come out probably after you get your mail-in ballot, people. So you can take that mail-in ballot and you can go put it in a blue and yellow box. We want them in the blue and yellow boxes. Don't mail it. Just go to the blue and yellow box. You can do that, or, you know, obviously on June 2nd, but we want everybody to vote as early as possible. So if you're in those districts, yes, we have to vote. But what else can we do?
I am an incumbent, but this is a David versus Goliath fight. This is me in the community, working families fighting against special interest and corporations that are mad that I haven't been voting to make their pockets fatter with money. And that's okay, because that's why I ran. That's why I didn't take their money the first time. And so if you can donate $1, if you can donate $5, that will help us get us to more doors. That'll help us get more yard signs in. If you don't have resources, but you have time, we have phone banking that we do, postcard writing that we do, and door knocking that we do. Those are the things that are going to help us beat through the dozens of mailers that hotel owners are sending, investment firm banks are sending, and even dark underground money is sending to try to buy this seat from under us. Literally spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that we don't have people in this seat fighting for our most vulnerable community members and to make the city more affordable.
I was talking to someone who lives comfortably in Los Angeles, and I said, like, this is why I think this person is the right person for the job. And they were like, oh no, you know, the reason why I have to, you know, stay loyal to this person is because and she was focusing on this one issue, this one issue. And it was like something that just affected her. And I was like, but wait a minute. Look at the whole city. Like, there's you who can pay your rent. I mean, you can pay your rent. You're living well, you're whatever. But you have to think about all the other things that make a city beautiful. You need to pay attention to a lot of different people. You don't have to agree with everybody. But this idea that you can somehow hermetically seal yourself off from the very community that makes the world you're choosing to live in beautiful, from the culture, the food, the music, the fashion, all of that. You don't get to extract from all of these things and then say, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to live over here and I'm going to only pay attention to my stuff. And you are, I mean, that part of town is so special and so susceptible to gentrification, so susceptible to extraction. So it's so important that someone who is local, that is aware of all those businesses, all that stuff, because not only for the people that have like less than, but also if we want to keep all this delicious culture happening and thriving, we need somebody who is like a local, who's faithful to those people and aware of all of those, like you said, you're aware of all of those different things. Yeah.
Yes, and is willing to fight. Think about the last almost year that we've been in the federal immigration raids and the crisis of the federal government, and seeing how people either have stepped in or stepped back. I've decided to step in. I've decided to step to the front and advocate, and that's scary. You know, putting yourself out there, putting your safety online, and all these other things on the line to fight for your community and all your community, right? That's something that I decided to do because I felt that, you know, the universe and God put me here in this moment. We can't retreat. We have to step into it. And so that's also, people will show you who they are. You have to believe them, especially in moments of crisis.
It's so funny you said that because in Marissa's, we were talking about that same, we keep paraphrasing Maya Angelou, and ain't that the truth? What is, and you can change your mind about this. So this is for today. This is not like you're not locked in. Okay. I just want to know right now, today, what's your favorite concert?
The Korn concert that I went to last year.
Uh-huh.
It was just I hadn't seen corn in over a decade or probably 15 years, but since the first time I saw them. So I did not sit down the whole time. Every song I was just yelling to the top of my lungs. It filled me up with so much joy and my batteries. Like that was the most memorable, most recently that I went to. I love
Ah,
corn. I
I
love new metal.
I love this is my favorite question. You learn so much about someone. You're just like, oh my God. Like it is so and also like there's people now that are gonna watch this and be like, I've never listened to Korn. Now I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So see, you're like music appreciation. What else do you need us to know? What do we need to know?
Well, I think just one thing that I want to add is something that I'm really proud of that I've been able to do as a city council member
Yeah.
is help establish the city's unarmed crisis response program.
That's right.
And
You did that. Explain
this
to us what that is. I love that. Go ahead.
Yes, this is so when we have loved ones who might be going through a mental health crisis, sometimes suicidal ideations or other crises, behavioral health as well. We don't really know who to call other than 911. And when you call 911, for the most part the response is either fire department or police. And I've seen in my career, I've met families of loved ones who called 911 when their loved one was in a mental health crisis and their loved one was killed by the police in that response. And so these teams, my colleagues just approved making a pilot program that we started about a year and a half ago into a permanent program. 20,000 calls have been answered. Less than 4% have they needed LAPD backup. So if they needed it, they could get it. And now the fire department is also starting to transfer calls to them, which is saving us money because
Yeah, how
when they
much is it?
respond,
That's right. How much is it?
$35.
It's so it costs how much?
$35.
How much when the cops get called and how much when this gets called?
$85 for the cops to respond, $35 for trained mental health clinicians and professionals to answer these calls. We're
Thank
saving
you.
lives, we're saving money, and my goal is going to be to make it citywide in the next couple years, and we're going to make it happen.
We have to make that happen because I totally know I know about that heartbreaking experience, and anybody who comes from a family where there's anybody with any mental health things, even if they weren't someone who was consistently violent, if people get dysregulated, they can get super angry. And if you add people like the cops whose job they usually think is to like swoop in and protect with force, then they get dysregulated. And you have nobody there who has been actively trained. Hey, this is what a nervous system does when it gets upset.
She's the person to vote for. That's obvious to me. And I hope that you can see it too. I just think this is a really fun thing to be doing right now. I am like 2 minutes away from starting Criminal Minds, like a week away from starting Criminal Minds. I'm doing a play right now. I just got back from New York, as you can tell. And it's so worth it to me to take the time that I have to be doing this because the people who are running for these positions that I get to talk to are so the right people. And I want people in Los Angeles to know the people that we can vote for that will maintain and create a Los Angeles. This is just as unique and vibrant and kind as the people of Los Angeles are. Because one thing I know about Los Angeles is we are a very kind place. And you might not know that. You might get stories told to you about Los Angeles and its aloofness and whatever. I mean, look what happened during the fires. Like, everybody in town tried to figure out their own specific way to help. And that's sort of how this town is at its best. And then interlopers come in, definition of interlopers, and then they try to like extract. And I feel like real Los Angelinos contribute as much as they extract. And we want council people and people who work for us to do the same thing, right? Right, yeah. Good talk. The song is called Blue and Yellow Box. It is inspired by lavote.gov, and it is about the blue and yellow box. Voting starts on the 5th of May, but there's a thing you can do today. If you live like me in LA, find a blue and yellow box. I saw one by the library. They're all around our fair city. Vote early, I beg and plead. Put your ballot in a blue and yellow box. Chorus, blue and yellow box. It is our friend. Our vote will be counted. Put your ballot in the vote early, I recommend. LA Vote Gov did this for us, and I think that's cool. And so does my German Shepherd my grandpa had that's dead now, but I'm sure he agrees, and his name was Gus. I wrote that last line just now. You're welcome. Fireworks. Woodland animals cheering that have been released from stone because there was a spell. Get your voting plan. Make it happen. It's coming up.